House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan scored a major legal victory on Wednesday of this week that is going to come back and bite him harder than anything he could ever imagine. The ruling on Wednesday, that has now, by the way, been put on pause by an appeals court. We may know more on Saturday after both sides have presented their cases. But either way, a Trump-appointed judge on Wednesday ruled that the subpoena issued by Jordan's Judiciary Committee to former Manhattan DA's office prosecutor, Mark Pomerantz, was in fact valid, and that Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg's argument as to why Pomerantz could not comply with the subpoena was invalid. And it is literally exactly what I told you it would be. It's one of those I told you so. But Bragg's office had argued the House does not have a legitimate legislative purpose to bring in Mark Pomerantz, which is the same thing Republicans had argued when Democrats in Congress were trying to get their hands on Donald Trump's tax returns. Said you got no legislative purpose for it, therefore you can't have it. Well, this Trump-appointed judge said actually they do have a legitimate legislative purpose. Legislation has been introduced by Representative Gonzalez, a Republican from Texas, who says that we want to pass legislation that would remove the ability of prosecutors at the state or local level to prosecute former presidents, thereby moving it to the federal courts. So there is technically pending legislation that negates Alvin Bragg's argument. Just like Democrats with Trump's tax returns, not saying they were wrong for doing it, but they actually drafted legislation that would change the way the IRS audits presidents. So they said, aha, we do have a legitimate legislative purpose. Republicans are using the Democrats' own plan against them. And I'm totally cool with that because, as I said, this is going to blow up in Jim Jordan's face like a stick of dynamite for Wile E. Coyote. That's what's happening here. I do not know why, for the life of me, Jim Jordan would want to bring in Mark Pomerantz, the man who is on record saying we had Donald Trump cold on financial crimes that we were going to indict him for and criminally prosecute him for. What is Jordan hoping to get out of this? I've analyzed this from every possible angle, and for the life of me, I can't think of a single good thing that is going to come of this for Jim Jordan. And maybe Jim Jordan knows that. Maybe Jim Jordan had been secretly praying that the courts rule against him so he can be like, oh, these liberal courts, gosh darn it. But then it was a Trump-appointed judge, and he's like, oh crap, I'm actually going to have to talk to this guy who says that the guy I admire and who all my supporters love committed even worse crimes than what he got indicted for. Oh, crap. Nothing good will come of this for Jim Jordan. You're going to regret the day that you sent that subpoena to Mark Pomerantz. Again, Pomerantz, in his resignation letter, said that we've got enough evidence to charge Trump with crimes. In his new book, he says we not only had enough evidence to charge him with crimes, we had the indictments written and ready to file. So what's going to happen to Jim Jordan's MAGA crowd when Mark Pomerantz walks into Congress and says that? We're talking about the politicization of the Manhattan DA's office. Oh, you want to hear some stuff Pomerantz is going to say? How about this? And he can lay out the litany of crimes that Donald Trump, in his view, committed. Then it's in the congressional record. Then it's in the news again. Then all of those MAGA people who support Jim Jordan are going to say, Jim, you just screwed our guy. We hate you now. That's the best possible outcome for Jim Jordan. That's the only thing that's going to happen, Jim. It was Oscar Wilde who said, paraphrasing a bit here, there's two great tragedies in life. One is never getting what you want, and the other is getting exactly what you want. And Jim Jordan is getting exactly what he wants, and he's not going to be happy that he did. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low, low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel. We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.